He has to be honest with himself. His decision not only impacts who's going to serve in the White House the next 4 years, but who's going to serve in the Senate, who's going to serve in the House, and it will have implications for decades to come.
It sounds like you're actually open to the idea that it might be the right decision for him to step aside.
Well, it would be the right decision for Biden to step aside. And who you just heard from is actually a Democratic congressman named Mike Quigley, who's clearly implying that Biden should drop out of the race following his terrible debate performance. It looks like this rebellion by Democrats against Joe Biden remaining in the presidential race has begun, and with good reason. So for instance, CNN has a new poll out and they find that most voters believe the Democrats have a better chance at keeping the White House if someone other than Biden runs in the general election. Most Democrats and Democratic-leaning registered voters, 56%, say the party has a better shot at the presidency with someone other than Biden, while 43% say the party stands a better chance with him. So 43% of the Democratic voters are still delusional enough to think that a guy with dementia is the best possible candidate to beat Donald Trump. Best wishes to you. I don't know how you live in that kind of delusional lack of reality, but okay.
I do, because we've been talking about it now for the last year or so. These bubbles are super hard to penetrate. Tons of brainwashing goes in to create these bubbles. In this case, this is created by mainstream media, MSNBC and CNN. So for people watching those, they don't know they're being brainwashed. They don't know that that's not reality. And since you don't watch that, you have to remember what their perspective is. 24/7, they're getting a message until the debate that Biden's in great shape. He's the only one who could beat Trump. Picking someone else would be a disaster. It would be disloyal to the Democratic Party. It would be helping Trump. Now, if you didn't know any better and your job is not politics, you're a plumber, dentist, accountant, whatever it is, and you're hearing nonstop that Biden is the best possible candidate we have, and he's the only one who could beat Trump, well, you'd be for Biden too, because you just didn't know the reality. And the reality is that these people, all of them together, have been keeping the truth from you. And now you see the matrix for what it is.
And the same poll, by the way, finds that Biden's approval rating has dipped even lower, record lows. It has now fallen to. Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team. 36% of Americans approving of the job he's doing, with 45% now saying they strongly disapprove of his performance. And so this has, I guess, emboldened some of the Democrats to maybe consider doing the right thing for once, including Democratic governors who held a secret meeting earlier this week on Monday. They didn't even allow any members of their staffs to be involved in that meeting. It was literally just Democratic governors. And what they were doing is essentially strategizing in order to demand that Biden meet with them and show that he is not experiencing cognitive decline. They're actually shocked that Biden didn't reach out to them. They were expecting Biden to give them a call after that terrible debate performance, and they were shocked that they didn't get that call. The meeting, by the way, was organized by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. So already you get an inkling of the prominent Democrats in the country, in this case, governors, thinking about what their next steps are gonna be, because they do see Biden continuing on with this re-election campaign as a threat in the general, and a threat for the future of the country. There are other Democrats who have been publicly speaking out. So I wanna give you a few examples. One of them is Rhode Island US Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who told a local news outlet, I think like a lot of people, I was pretty horrified by Biden's debate performance. I think people want to make sure this is a campaign that's ready to go and win, that the president and his team are being candid with us about his condition, that this was a real anomaly and not just the way he is these days. But it does appear that this is the way he is these days. Peter Welch, who's another Democratic senator from Vermont, had a similar concern. I really do criticize the campaign for a dismissive attitude towards people who are raising concerns for, or raising questions for discussion. That's just facing the reality that we're in. That's hardly, I won't repeat their term. And what he's referring to is the Democrats referring to anyone concerned about Biden as bedwetters.
Yeah, anyone, look, two things. If you hear anyone using the word bedwetters or pearl clutching, understand that they're
Gaslighting you?
Yeah, they're gaslighting you, they're doing propaganda, and they're honestly quite pathetic, right? Now look, I know that real people fall into that trap because they heard it from other people, but the people pushing that talking point, so what? The president's down to 36, no incumbent has ever won at 36. Are you just being a bedwetter? What if he was down to 14%? 3%, would we still be bedwetters?
I
mean, at 36%, you're guaranteed a loss anyway. So what difference does it make if it's 36 or 8%? These guys are the worst serial pathological liars you've ever seen.
So after that horrible debate performance, the Pod Save guys do a podcast episode and they express their honest concerns. And guess what the Biden camp did after that?
Let me guess, they froze him out.
Well, I don't know if they froze him out, but they put out some sort of message, and in that message, they do this passive aggressive line about self-important podcasters.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's their, so it's too late. They're past the tipping point and they don't realize it. That's the kind of stuff that works 98% of the time where they're like, oh, the White House is slightly upset with you. And usually, I'm sorry, but it's true. Pod Save America or any of those kind of mainstream or mainstream adjacent people are like, oh no, the White House is upset with us. Okay, get back in line, get back in line. No, Biden's fine, Biden's fine. Now,
that's kind of what happened. That's kind of what happened.
Really? Oh, come on. Don't embarrass yourself.
The next podcast episode following the one where they expressed their concerns, they listed how much respect and love they have for Biden, how much he sacrificed for the country. They softened the message, basically.
Yeah,
so it worked, but honestly, I mean, look, if you want your viewers or listeners to respect you and find you credible, you can't lie to them. The truth always comes out, which is why, look, I know we've been tooting our own horn, but I can't help it because we've gotten so much backlash for simply telling the truth. But guys, the reason why we tell the truth, knowing that in the short term, it's gonna lead to backlash, it's gonna lead to loss of viewership and anger by our audience, is because we respect our audience. And we know that eventually the truth comes out and everyone's gonna be on the same page.
Look, honestly, I respected Pod Save America more than that. That's embarrassing. If you're a dead ender out there, look, you know, the usual lackeys, Hal Sparks, Bob Cheska, whatever. Those guys, they're running around on positive. I saw some note about how I'm sure that they're all like, oh, don't listen to the Young Turks. Biden's fine. Biden's fine. Don't listen to your eyes. Don't listen to your ears. Don't listen to anything. Only listen to me. I do great propaganda on behalf of Biden. Biden. Okay, loser. Total, utter, embarrassing losers.
I didn't know they were Trump supporters.
Yeah, and so they are. They're MAGA. They're total MAGA, right? So they want Trump to win. Because Biden has a 0% chance of winning. And so they're like, who cares? Who cares? Protect the powerful. Protect authority. We worship you, we service you, Joe Biden. Trump wins, who cares? Democracy's not on the line. You were lying the entire time, you never cared about this election. We cared, we tried to make a difference. Anyway, back to the Congress people who are relevant. Representative Quigley and the governors are different. Quigley's now worried about what every Democrat in Congress is worried about. And that's why Jamie Raskin yesterday said, we're talking about it, which was like a big risk. He was the first person to say we're talking about it, right? Because now they're making ads with putting Biden's debate performance next to Democratic congressmen, and they're gonna run it in every district, and they're gonna say, these losers are lying to you, and backing this guy who doesn't even have a brain left.
We have an example
and it's gonna
of that.
Slaughter the Democrats.
No, you make a great point, Cenk, and that has already begun. So you're about to watch an example. So this is a Republican ad targeting Pennsylvania Democratic Senator Bob Casey, who had previously defended Joe Biden's cognitive abilities. Take a look.
Everything we have to do with
what would you have Joe Biden do to make the case that he's not an elderly, well-meaning gentleman?
People are going to see it in the campaign.
No question he's prepared to do this job today and would be were he reelected.
I have a lot of confidence in his leadership.
No question he's prepared to do this job today.
Oof.
Gone. There goes Congress. Gone. If Biden's the candidate, it is going to be an epic landslide. I mean, look, I don't know how bad the Democratic Party is going to bleed out politically, but now I'm starting to, for the first time, worry about filibuster-proof majority in the Senate, which would eviscerate this country. So, there's no chance they hold a Senate and Congress at this point if Biden's the candidate. None, okay? Trump's gonna have a mandate, etc. But now, guys, the good news is that's not gonna happen. Okay, because these ads, thank you, Republicans. I mean, I almost don't want to say it, because these ads will rescue the Democratic Party.
I mean, yeah, that's a really good point, actually.
Yeah, because whether you're Bob Casey or Quigley or any of these guys, you can only take 2 or 3 weeks of these ads and have your poll numbers go down 5, 6 points. All the purple districts are gone, all the purple states are gone, before your hair's on fire and go, no, you're bringing all of us down with you.
Yeah.
Whether we have nothing left to lose. So
I mean, look, Jill Biden might love the power, but so do the Democratic lawmakers who are going to be hurt by Biden insisting on running for re-election.
At this point, it's like basically the first lady versus the rest of the party. Because the first, look, guys, it's an inescapable fact that the #1 decision maker, as reported by every major media outlet, is Jill Biden, and she's keeping Biden in the race when almost everyone else thinks that he should be gone, whether they're saying it on TV or not. The governors are different. The governors are starting to angle for the slot themselves. They're less of a down ballot issue. Of course, the epic collapse affects all of them, but they're basically going, come on, man, this is crazy. You got to at least talk to us and tell us what the strategy is, but they don't have a strategy. That's why they're not talking to them. And then finally, when you go to the senators like Whitehouse and, well, look, they're 2 of the better ones. And they're the ones at least going out there and having a tiny bit of courage now to say things. So I appreciate it. So I will address the rest of the senators. Look at these profiles in courage. I mean, saying nothing, doing nothing, as this whole thing is melting in front of your eyes.
I hate to say it.
I know, Bernie's a senator, okay? But no, guys, no, I actually don't think Bernie should come out now. Now, you might be wondering why. I was saying Bernie should come out for months now and unendorse him on Gaza, let alone the fact that Biden's definitely going to lose, right? So why am I saying now that Bernie should hold back? Because if Bernie is one of the first ones to come out, they'll blame the whole election on Bernie.
But he's not one of the first ones. There are other Democrats in elected office right now.
Bernie has to be almost the last one to come out. If he's the 37th congressperson to come out, they'll blame the whole election on Bernie, okay? So you know they're dying to do it. So hey, how about the rest of you guys? Do any of you have a conscience? Do any of you have a pulse? So that we got all these Democratic senators hiding.
I hate that I look, this is gonna sound catty. I don't mean it to be catty. And honestly, I held my fire when this first was reported. But I'm gonna say something now. Maybe AOC should have considered keeping her powder dry before immediately endorsing Joe Biden for re-election.
She was just cutting ads for him like last week.
It's so embarrassing.
Look, we said use your leverage. We're not venting, guys. This is strategy. Yeah, I get it. We look emotional on air from time to time, but whether you're passionate about something does not indicate whether you're logical or not logical about it. We have been incredibly logical and correct throughout this entire thing. When you're doing normal strategy of politics, you hold leverage. Look at Joe Manchin, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, he was a master at it in the first 2 years of the Biden administration. Holds his leverage and then uses all of it when he needs it. The progressives come in and go, here's our leverage, take it all. They literally, this was the name of their strategy during the negotiations. Trust Biden.
Yeah, I know.
Why don't you just tell me you don't understand how politics works?
I know.
That's not a strategy. That's a surrender.
I want to go to graphic 8 here because this is the first Democrat in elected office who just came out and said it. And I got to give him credit for this. Longtime Texas Representative Lloyd Doggett becomes the first Democratic lawmaker on Capitol Hill to call on President Biden to drop out of the race. Quote, I represent the heart of a congressional district once represented by Lyndon Johnson. Under very different circumstances, he made the painful decision to withdraw. President Biden should do the same. And so, there are former Democrats in elected office who have also spoken out. You have former HUD Secretary Julian Castro, for instance, also calling a spade. So let's take a quick look at that.
Donald Trump is the most faulty, vulnerable, corrupt opponent that you can have in 2024. We should be talking about his 34 felony counts, that he has unprecedented levels of corruption, and instead, Democrats are on their heels having to defend Joe Biden and the baggage that he brings with him. So yes, I believe that there are stronger options out there for Democrats. We have a stable of folks that I think could do a better job, including Vice President Harris.
You believe Joe Biden should drop out of the race?
I believe that another Democrat would have a better shot at beating Trump. And because, as Congressman Doggett said in his statement, that it's too risky to let Donald Trump walk into this in November. Yeah, I think that Democrats would do well to find a different candidate.
So I agree with almost everything Julian Castro said in that clip, with the exception of promoting Kamala Harris. And when we come back from the break, I actually want to have a conversation about the calls to have Kamala Harris replace Biden in this general election. It's not just Julian Castro. You also have former Congressman Tim Ryan making the case in an outrageous way. So I want to read some excerpts from his op-ed. So if you are watching a clip right now rather than the live show, just know that we have a live show Monday through Friday, beginning at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. And so let's take that break. When we come back, we'll go ahead and cover the Kamala Harris angle of the story and more. Don't miss it.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.